Thank you very much for listening to this webinar on continuing professional development. I hope that by going through this presentation, you will have a better understanding of the requirements of the GMC in relation to the college's continuing professional development scheme. In this session, we will cover the principles of CPD, how to enroll on the college's scheme, the key elements of the scheme, the type of different CPD activities which may be useful for you, the importance of reflection and assessing the impact of your CPD, and how to record your CPD activities. Firstly, it's important to recognise that CPD is a GMC requirement for revalidation. Their good medical practice guidance says that you must keep your professional knowledge and skills up to date, and you must regularly take part in activities that maintain and develop your competence and performance. The college scheme is voluntary. You're not obliged to use it. It has been created as a tool to support fellows and members to gather appropriate evidence to use in their appraisal and to support revalidation. It follows the core principles of the Academy of Medical Royal Colleges and is similar in structure to the CPD schemes of other colleges. It's important that you think about your CPD requirements prospectively with your appraiser every year. The Academy of Medical Royal Colleges has laid out a series of 7 principles, all of which are important. Firstly, you as an individual have responsibility for undertaking your CPD. It's nobody else's job to make sure that you do this. Secondly, it is important not just to attend educational events, but to pause and consider their significance afterwards and to write down your thoughts as a reflective note. This can then be used as evidence and gains additional credits. Your CPD should not focus on a narrow area of practice, but should cover everything you do, not just clinical work, but if you have an educational role, educational events, if you are research active, it should include research training as well. The CPD goes to form some of the evidence to support your annual appraisal, and the series of annual appraisals then is used as evidence for revalidation over a 5-year cycle. There should be a balance of CPD, not only in terms of the range of your practice, but also in terms of the different types of CPD activities. Some can be done alone at your computer or by reading a book or journal. Others, very importantly, require you to attend meetings and network with colleagues, because it's through that informal discussion that one really learns. It's important not just to undertake CPD, but also to record it in a way that you can demonstrate to others that you have done what is required. Your employer has a responsibility, both in terms of arranging your appraisal, but in also facilitating and supporting you to undertake appropriate CPD. Enrolment on the college scheme is only available to members and fellows of the college. If your training was completed within the UK with the RCR, you will be automatically enrolled onto the scheme, and the CPD team will email you to confirm your enrolment. If your entry onto the specialist register was, for example, by a certificate of equivalent specialist training, because most of your training was conducted elsewhere, then you will need to contact the CPD team to enroll in the scheme. The key basis of the scheme is that over a 5-year cycle, you collect 250 credits. Ideally, these will be evenly spread over the 5-year cycle, about 50 a year, but fluctuations are allowed, for example, if you've taken time off for maternity leave or because you've been ill, and there is no annual limit to the number of credits that you may claim. A range of activities should be undertaken to obtain these 250 credits. So you're encouraged to carry out a variety of different activities to ensure that the whole breadth of your practice is covered and that your learning is completed in different ways. 40% of the total, that is to say 100 credits over the 5 years, should be obtained from face-to-face activities which support peer group networking. A wide range of different types of activities is available, and this may be much larger than you think. When first considering CPD, most people think about attendance at courses or congresses or symposia or other large meetings organized by the college or other professional societies where you may sit and listen to lectures or meet other people, but there are many other different types of things which are equally valid. You can do distance learning from online sources such as the college's e-learning website. You may perhaps be undertaking a formal postgraduate qualification, for example, a postgraduate certificate or diploma, or maybe you're doing an MSc or studying for another higher degree such as an MD or a PhD. If you are investigating a new technique to introduce into your hospital, you may attend an organised training secondment at another hospital, either in the UK or abroad, and this will also be recognised. If you are asked to prepare and deliver a lecture, this can be counted. If you are presenting a paper or a poster at a meeting, this is valuable too. If you write a peer-reviewed paper or a book chapter, or if you are the author or an editor of a book, credit can be given towards this. Peer review is an important part of the academic process, and if you peer review a grant application or a paper for a journal, that can be counted. If you are involved in examining, for example, by setting exam questions or undertaking exams, that is relevant. Writing of national guidelines can be included. If you form part of a group undertaking an external service review, that should count. Within your own hospital, attending local teaching events or audit meetings can be included. Learning or updating computer skills is an essential part as information technology moves forwards. And of course, you're also encouraged to think about self-directed learning, reading journals, relevant articles or guidelines, reading books, and so on. You're very strongly encouraged to consider writing a reflective note following any of these activities, or you can also do this following learning from other things such as attendance at an MDT meeting where something unusual is discussed, being part of an inquiry into a critical incident or discrepancy or a review of errors, or from learning a new skill. Writing about how the CPD may have had a real impact on your clinical practice is very helpful too. So if, for example, new national guidelines are published on the treatment of a disease and you've read this, learnt from it, and changed what you do in your department, then that can be included. The college offers a template for writing down your reflection, but this can also be recorded in other ways. Different values can be ascribed to different activities. In other words, a different number of credits may be available following different things, and if you look at the college's website and the guide to CPD, that will let you know what you can reasonably claim. As I've mentioned before, it is absolutely essential not just to undertake CPD, but to record the activity for the purposes of appraisal and revalidation. In addition to the summary record of CPD that you've undertaken, you should retain and be able to demonstrate the evidence that this is real. How you choose to record your CPD is entirely up to you. The RCR offers an Excel spreadsheet on which you can record things. The GMC has made available an app which can be downloaded to your smartphone or to your tablet, and this seems to work very well indeed. So to summarize, CPD is a GMC requirement and is not an obligation imposed by the college. The college is there to help you by offering a CPD scheme which is available to help you if you wish. You need to take personal ownership and responsibility of your CPD, and a balanced portfolio of many different activities is desirable. This should cover the whole breadth of your practice, and it must involve face-to-face activities. Reflection is essential, and the writing of impact statements is also important. All this should be carefully documented. If you have any further questions, then these may well be answered by the guides available on the college's website, or you can send a written inquiry to the college help desk by email. Thank you very much for listening. I do hope you found this helpful.